Hello everyone, this is Shining Noctiles, and tonight I want to do a special video today. Not that my previous videos weren't special, but I guess for lack of a better term, um, I have decided to do another special video. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. And this is something that I feel is worth sharing. I do because I feel like I need to bring the attention out there, the attention that the Celtic and Norse heart is really more similar than even I initially believed. Yeah, and I've noticed that more and more as I've really listened to um, those who really connected strongly with the Norse or Viking culture and really understand them even more deeply now than I have before. And it's interesting, it is. It's been quite a journey. But I see similarities there of what we share, of what we both share. And yeah, because I feel like in my past life, some of my Celtic friends may have also had Viking ancestry or may have been Vikings themselves. Because the Vikings had a big part in the Celtic Isles for several hundred years. And there's almost like a intertwining message there, really. Yeah. And I've noticed that whether I've spoken to uh, one of my friends, his name or her name, I'm sure he or she would prefer to go by both. Um, but his name, at least as a general neutral term, was Lillian. And I remember when he and I used to talk for a very long time with one another. And I don't talk to him as much anymore because he and I have gone our own ways for time. But nonetheless, I remember the depth that he would share with me, and that I would share with him. And it was yeah, it was really yeah, it was quite profound in many ways. And um, I notice that too when I listen to Borge Andreas Bohansen. I see how a lot of the ways we think are very similar, really. It's interesting, really. It's and just how I'm not sure about Lilium, but I know Borge has had a lot of issues in the past with Bible thumpers and unreasonable evangelicals. And when I was having issues with that, I heard, him sharing his video a day later. And that gave me a wee bit of comfort that there are those out there like me that also have to struggle with this, but the comfort is really more so when we remember to stand in solidarity for sure. Yeah, that's the comfort there. And I don't really think that we're too different. No, I I know even Lilium told me one time, even though I have a Celtic heart and he has a Norse heart, that we're essentially the same. And it's interesting because you know, as far as ancestry goes, even though it's really about who you are more than anything else, and I'm sure they would agree with that. Um, but nonetheless, I'm not sure in my past life if I had Norse or Viking ancestry. I know this life, um, my father's name, his name is Sigifredo, but that's the Spanish word for a German uh, word, which is Siegfried, and if you go even further, it's Sigurd, which is Norse. And see, the thing is, this is probably where the Vikings and I would see things differently, because I see dragons more like protectors, and that there are those out there with good hearts, and that I feel like there's been a lot of misconceptions of them that has needed to heal over time. Now, I would have to do more understanding of the Norse perspective to see how they really view dragons completely, because I've heard usually the way they've seen dragons has tended to be more in a negative context or things of that sort. But I'd really have to read more about it and see, get a more educated kind of outlook on it. But nonetheless, I know even in my DNA test, I got a wee bit of Scandinavia, not much, but at least around 2.2%. I mean, it doesn't really matter, really. I mean, what matters is what's in your heart, anyways. So, and I'm sure they probably agree with that. But yeah, no, I just find a lot of connection and comfort there, like a kinship, really, like healing kinship. Because they've, even Borge was saying, kind of what happened with my brethren in my past life. We both our brethren, both of their blood was spilled on the battlefield for those who had tried to push their absolute truth on us. And that's why we fight so hard together as now, yeah, as brothers in arms, really. And it gives me comfort and strength that I'm not the only warrior there that feels like that. That Borge and probably Lilium also feel the same. Yeah. And having that solidarity really helps give me strength. Yeah. And the other thing too is I think a lot of people have misconceptions of Norse or Vikings in general, particularly when it comes to racial matters. Not once did I ever feel like Lilium or Borge had any sort of racial superiority or any of that sort, really, just because they had a Northern European or Scandinavian ancestry. No, no, I don't ever feel that. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions of them, really, just like there have been of the Celtic people. Really, I think that they really hold honor and high regard, and they've really been attacked, even recently, by a lot of hate groups that have tried to twist their symbols, like Thor's hammer, for their own benefit. And it's sad. It's sad, really. I know some of the Celtic symbols, or sometimes, um, I watch this Irish pagan YouTuber at times called Laura O'Brien, and I know she's told me that there have been some hate groups that have tried to twist some of the Celtic symbols as well, or at least use it for their own. I guess maybe unjustified is maybe what she would say. Unjustified means maybe. And I also watch her partner as well. He also does. He also does videos as well. I'm trying to remember his name. I know he calls himself the Dagda Bard, but I'm gonna try to. Okay, his name is John O'Sullivan. Okay, if he's watching the video right now, and he may not, but you know, yeah, just needed a wee bit of a reminder there. So yeah, John O'Sullivan. I know he also spoke about how a lot of people try to use one of the Celtic gods, for example, Lu. And actually, by the way, my name this lifetime is Lewis, and it's funny how Lou and Lewis sound very similar. Um, and there may have been some kind of connection or origin there, shared origin. But nonetheless, I know he spoke about Lou and how people have tried to use, or hate groups have tried to use Lou's blonde hair and blue eyes as a hate symbol to justify their own means for their white supremacy or and it's really silly now that I think about it because this whole thing about being white or black or gray it makes no sense because all of us whether you're Celtic, Norse, African, Asian, Native American, all the tribes, really have faced struggles between those who have tried to push their absolute truth on us in the past. But we really are color, and that's why I'm using the colors here. Because when I think about Ireland or Eire, I think of the color green. When I think of Norway, or maybe Sweden, I think of the color blue, the ocean. When I think of China, I think of yellow. When I think of the Pacific Islands, I think of purple and violets. When I think of India, I think of like a brownish golden color. Um, the Americas, I think of red, and maybe even silver. I don't know why that came up, but anywho, we are all really color, and I think people really forget that there is no white or black or gray in the sense that if people were really white, uh, white as in like white hair, white eyes, and chalk white skin, I think that's yeah, people weren't like that, and even if they were, like it still shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't be an issue regardless. Same thing with people that are allegedly called black. I mean, even if they have very, very dark skin, I mean, they don't have like black eyes or things like that. Uh, I don't know. And even if they did, that's not a problem. So I think like there is really this issue between people not really understanding that it has really nothing to do with your how you look or your hair color, skin color, but it's who you are. And when I've heard Boris talking about how he feels offended at times when people try to call him a white person. I can understand how he feels because, to me, he's a Norseman, and I see myself with the Celtic Heart, and I don't see him and say, "Oh, you're white." I don't see that. I just see you're a Norseman. That's very, know. But I think people have forgotten who they are and have forgotten what connects us. Yeah, what connects us. And so when I see Boers or when I see the Norsemen, I see similarity there between us. Um, and that comes from our hearts. Yeah. And how we view things from our hearts. And I'm glad, that I met them this lifetime. Yeah, they just really have you can have a lot of respect for them. And even though they make mistakes, including myself, there is a shared unity there. Yeah, that's what I feel. And and I feel the same way that they do, how their gods and goddesses have been attacked, or seen as lesser or not even included or excluded rather, or even used in ways that are not healthy, not healthy. And that's happened with the Celtic gods and goddesses too in some ways. And or I guess what I mean to say unhealthy, I guess what I'm trying to say is that um for example, and it's not that I have to use this example, but an intolerable evangelical may not be willing to listen to the Norse perspective or see his view on Odin without calling him a heretic. And that's happened with me too, at times when I've tried to talk about Cornunos or Morrigan at times, So there's a common thread there. There's a common thread. And as Borges, would say, and as I would say as well, there's nothing wrong with someone being Christian as long as they're respectful. I actually, my dad and his wife are both Christians, and they have good hearts, and they're willing to listen, despite having a different view. But I think that's a beautiful thing that they can do that as well as other people that I know that are Christian as well that are willing to listen as well, or listen from a different perspective, respectfully. Yeah. And for me, as someone who would maybe, as someone who would call himself a Celtic pagan, I'm fascinated really by Norse paganism, even though I don't really know about all the history or all the nuances about it, and I haven't really spoken as much with the Norse gods or goddesses, just because, I connect more with, Cernunnos and Morrigan, Celtic gods and goddesses, but I have respect, also, for the Norse gods in their own way, even though I don't really commune with them. However, I do at least connect with, you know, the Norsemen, or at least those with good hearts. And again, I really see a lot of similarities there. And yeah, they just really have good hearts, And it's sad that some people would judge them just because they have fair skin or their hair color or whatnot. Because I never, they were never meant to be seen like that. No, they weren't. Yeah. But hopefully in time that will change and that viewpoint will also change. And yeah. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to share that. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys found it insightful. And hope you all take care. Slangafol. Take care. Bye for now.